Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Vicki Lemons. If you are new, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. I am so glad to have you here. In today's video, we are going to talk about marriage tips. I've got some great ones for you. I've given you some before. I believe I've given you 30 before. We might run into some repeat offenders because there's some key things that are always great to keep in your marriage. And remember, my number one rule is your marriage, your rules. You pick out the things that best help you guys, that best suit you guys, and you use those tools to continue to work on your marriage. You may not necessarily need all these tools. You may not need any of them. Listen anyway. Guess what? You might be able to help someone else. So, with that being said, let's get into it. We all know rule number one. Most of the time, people will say communication. And that is true. Communication is key. The thing is that what one might deem as communicating, the other may not see as effectively communicating. And that's the key word right there, effectively. We have to learn how to effectively communicate. Learning to effectively communicate means that you have to do the next tip, listen. We have to be able to listen to our partner. We can't effectively communicate if we're listening to respond, if we're listening from a defensive place, if we're getting defensive. We have to listen from a place of understanding, not agreeance. Understanding. We have to understand that our partner thinks differently than we do, our partner feels differently than we do, and we should respect that by understanding that they feel and think differently than we do, and then it gets reciprocated back to us, so then they can treat us with the same courtesy. So understanding that effective communication can only take place if you're listening. One tool I always say, my husband and I do, we say, what did you hear me say? And I even do this with my children. What did you hear me say? And so you might say, honey, I'm feeling like you're not appreciating me when I do things around the house. You don't take time to say thank you. You don't use your manners. And then you stop. Like, don't give so much information all at once. Give short doses of information and say, now please tell me what you heard me say. And let them repeat back to you what you just said, but in their words. That way they can completely understand what's being spoken about here. And if they're on the right page, you continue on with more information. Okay, thank you. That is exactly how I feel. And then you keep going. If it's not what you're feeling, then you use that time to address the disconnect. And you address the disconnect by saying, like, I can see how that's probably what you thought I meant, but what I actually meant is fill in the blank. And then give them another chance to try and grasp what you're saying. Sometimes they may not grasp it, but at least there's an intention of trying to understand, which is where we should try to keep our gaze. The gaze should be at learning to be understanding, and knowing that communicating effectively requires us to listen, and listen effectively and attentively. Number 3, no grudges. We're not holding any grudges. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. You're a couple. You're a unit. You're one. Yeah, we get mad. We get upset. Take the time you need to decompress. But then let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. It is not going to bring anything positive into your relationship. Don't feel the need to shut down. Speak how you feel. Take the time you need to decompress. Come back together with a sense of understanding and knowing that, hey, you know what? These things happen. It's not going to always be great. It's not going to always be perfect. And this is just one of those little hurdles that we need to get through right now so that we can continue spending the rest of our marriage or until it happens again, because it happens. So it's going to happen. So right now we're going to get over this, be happy until it happens again, and then we're going to learn how to work through that situation too. So that's just something to think about. Don't hold any grudges. Say what you need to say, get it out, and be understanding both that you are with the information you're giving and with the information that you're receiving from your partner, and take the time you need to decompress and then move on. Number 4 is quality time. Number 4 is quality time. My husband and I do this, even if it's just going to the grocery store. We go to the grocery store every Saturday. We make it a date, kind of like a date. Sometimes we'll go get coffee and then go, and or we, go get groceries and then, maybe go to have some lunch or something after we drop the groceries back off. We just make time for each other. And we're really good about this because we truly are each other's best friends and we really like spending time with each other. But I understand that every situation is not the same. So I would just say quality time, however that means for you. And if it means one thing for you and something different for your partner, then you guys should discuss that and compromise. One week you do something that's fun for you. One week you do something that's fun for him. Just something to think about. Number 5 is show appreciation. I tell you what, you will get a lot more done with a please and a thank you than just barking orders or not showing any type of appreciation. Show your spouse some appreciation. Thank you, honey, for taking care of that. Thank you, my love, for doing that. Thank you, baby, for always being there when I need you to do this. Thank you, honey. Whatever it is, show appreciation. Thank you for making the bed. Something so simple. Thank you for taking the trash out of the bathroom. Whatever it is, make sure you show appreciation. 6, keep that romance alive. It is time to keep that romance alive. You have to do whatever it is you have to do. Watch certain type of movies, as long as both partners agree. Whatever it takes, certain type of outfits, as long as both partners agree. Whatever it takes for you to spark up things back into your life, into your marriage. Remember, if you're parents, then you're mom and dad. And if you work outside, you work, then you're an employee. But when you are married, that's your partner. That's your love. That's your lover. That's your everything. To them, you are a completely separate entity. Your marriage is a completely separate entity. And you have to keep the romance alive. And it's not one person's job. It's a collective thing. Sometimes he will do it. Sometimes I will do it. But it does take work. But it's a very necessary part of keeping a happy marriage. Empathy. Have some empathy for your partner. When they're going through things, when they're telling you things, let them be vulnerable and come back to them from a place of empathy. Not criticism, not demeaning. Understanding and empathy, like put yourself in their shoes. Think about how you would feel in that situation and then offer up a suggestion. Don't just demean or shut down what they're feeling. Come from a place of empathy. Number 8, don't try to change them. We are not trying to change our partner. Tweak a little bit maybe, but not change. They are who they are. And if any changing is going to do, it has to come from them. You trying to change them won't help. So don't try to change them. Number 9, compromise. You have to compromise in marriage. It just is what it is. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 50-50. You have to get to a place where you're still standing firm on your boundaries, but you also see that, maybe some things can change a little bit. I can back off here sometime. I can do this sometime. It's just being self-aware, self-reflecting, and understanding that you guys are in this together. This is not a competition. You are a team. You're a team. Number 10, set some goals. And I always say you should set individual goals aside from your partner. My goals are my goals. My husband's goals are his goals. And then we have goals together as a couple, right? And as a husband and wife and as a mother and a father. So set goals. Number 11, don't belittle. You are never going to belittle your partner. I'm guilty of this in the past, and that's why I'm coming to you with this, because I know it does not help, it does not work, and it does nothing but causes your partner to feel less about themselves, and that's not what we want to do. We want to uplift our partner. We want to make them feel like they are the most important person in the world to us, and we don't do that by talking about them and belittling them. Patience. You will have to practice lots of patience, and that's okay. Being patient doesn't mean setting aside your boundaries. It doesn't mean setting aside things that you believe or that matter to you. It just means that that person that you're dealing with, your partner, your love, they need you to take a little bit more time to understand that they don't process things the way you do. And that's okay. It's okay that they don't get it. It's okay that they don't show that they get it. Be patient. With my husband, he is one, I will have a full-blown conversation. I'm a talker, and if you don't know that already, and he is one that will listen to what I'm saying. He may not respond. He may just say, I hear what you're saying. But then like a week later, he'll say, remember when we had that conversation and you told me blah, blah, blah? I had some time to think about it. And then he usually offers up a really great response. That's his process. Be patient. Okay. Number 13, share the responsibilities. This is, again, your marriage, your rules. In our home, when our children were little, my husband was always deployed. So I did a lot of the cooking and the cleaning and the kids and all that. Now we share because my children are teenagers. And I think it's important to share the responsibilities around the home. It is not one person's job to keep a home clean. It's not one person's job to cook for everybody. It's a business. Your home is like your business, and you have to run it as such. And it's everybody's job to make sure that the business is running smoothly. And that means the responsibilities should be shared. How they get shared, that's up to you in your home. In my home, my husband and I alternate on making the bed. If he's home and our rule is the person last out of the bed has to make it. He's usually the first person out of the bed because he gets up early for work. So I end up making it usually. Now on the weekends, that's a different story. Same thing with cooking. If I don't feel like cooking, I'll say, honey, can you either bring something home or can you make dinner? He has no problem doing so. And yes, I ask because I've been doing it in my home. I've been doing it so long that it's probably expected for me to cook. But if I don't want to cook, I won't cook. And my husband has no problem sharing in those responsibilities. Number 14, admit when you're wrong. It's time to admit when you are wrong. Guess what? It helps us become accountable as not only a spouse and a parent, but as a person. It's okay to say, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. You know what? The way I spoke to you wasn't cool. I'm sorry. I apologize. Accountability. You have to take accountability. And that is only for you to help you grow. When you take accountability for your actions, it is truly to just help you become a better person so that now you know that behavior wasn't acceptable. Let me move forward being like this, shoulders back, chest up. Now I feel like I've grown a little bit, right? In my maturity, I've grown, right? Admitting when you're wrong is the first step to that. Laugh. The one thing I love the most about my husband is the way he makes me laugh. It doesn't matter what I'm going through. He's the funniest person I know. And I really think that's the key to like us wanting to be around each other is because we vibe off of each other that way. So if I don't stress anything, learn to laugh with each other. Find some movies you like together. Talk about, my husband and I, we literally speak sometime in movie quotes. But that's our thing. But we do love to laugh. Learn to laugh with your partner. Don't take everything so seriously. Self-care. Self-care individually. I'm a little late to the game in this one. I'm learning how to do my self-care now. And that's why I share with you. Some of these tips I've done for years. Some of these tips, it took me a long time to get to this point. So, self-care. What I will say about self-care is that you should individually have things that you do that make you feel better about the way you look and feel about yourself. And that will make you a better partner. The better you look and feel about you, the more you will want to interact and be comfortable in your skin around your partner. So self-care is important. If you haven't started yet, I would encourage you to start maybe just doing your skincare routine. Maybe every other night you want to take a bubble bath. Maybe you want to work out. Maybe it's all the above. Whatever it is that you feel will make you have a better self-concept, do it, because that self-care will make you feel good about you, and then in turn make you a better partner for your partner. Don't compare. Do not compare your relationship to any other relationship. And that is why my number one rule in marriage is your marriage, your rules. My marriage is not like any other marriage I know. And that's good. That's okay, because I'm me, he's him, and God made us the way he made us for us to be able to have what we have, not for us to be able to look at somebody else and see what they have and then copy it. That's not what we want to do. Do not compare your marriage to anyone else's. Yours is unique. Yours is special, just like everyone else's, but yours is unique. And you have to treat it accordingly. Sex. Sex is important. The one thing I will tell you is learn your partner's cycle patterns and learn to vocalize what it is that you need, what it is that you want, what you like, what you don't like, things that make you feel uncomfortable. Express all those things. Your body should feel good during sex, and you should want to have sex with your partner. And it just is a necessary part of a healthy marriage. Now, how often and all that, that's up to you guys. There are times where you may not be able to be intimate. There were times where my husband and I weren't able to be intimate because he was either deployed. I was high risk pregnancy, so I didn't have sex with my husband my entire pregnancies. However, there are things that can be done that, still bring gratification and an experience that, allows the person to say, okay, I don't mind not having sex right now. That allows you to still connect to your partner and be satisfied and just still be connected. Be financially responsible. Everyone does bills differently. Everyone's monetary responsibilities are different in every relationship. Just be responsible with the finances. Whatever the plan is for the family, that's what we stick to. My husband and I, we do bills every first of the month, and we see everything that has to be paid. We pay everything up, and then whatever's left is what we do. We break it down for groceries and school trips and whatever needs to be done. That's what we do that with. And so, but both of you should be financially responsible. If one person is spending too crazy and all the money is gone, and that's not being responsible. Be financially responsible in your marriage. Both parties. Address issues as they arise. Do not wait 3 weeks to talk about something that happened 3 weeks ago. Address it when it bothers you. Allow the person to see the emotion in your face, to see the way your voice is, your tone in your voice. Allow them the opportunity to apologize. Address the issue when you feel it. Don't harbor it. Be attentive. I know we're in the cell phone era and everybody's always on their phones. However, what I've learned to start doing with my husband and my children is when they ask for my attention, I turn my phone down if I'm able to. If I'm not busy doing something that I need to do, that's important. But usually my kids and my husband are the most important thing in the situation. So I normally just say, if I'm in the middle of typing something, I'll say, can you just give me 1 second or 1 minute? And my kids will stand right there for 1 minute. But that's what I asked them to do. I didn't say, can you go away for 5 minutes? If I said that, they would leave. But I don't need that. I need them to just give me 1 second. Let me finish what I'm doing. I put my phone down. I turn to them and I give them my full attention. My husband and my children. And I think that's important, especially nowadays, because people are so distracted by their phones. So when you are with your partner and you're having quality time, turn the phone off. Flip it upside down. Put it on the charger and go and then walk away. Let your quality time be actual quality time. Therapy. I'm a big fan of therapy. I'm a big fan of counseling. I'm a big fan of trying to understand and grow and be better. And so I definitely think therapy, a counselor, your pastor, someone that you deem to be knowledgeable, wise counsel, compassionate, considerate, honest, and trustworthy. People that you don't go to social media to tell your business. You don't go to your mama. You don't go to your daddy. You go to a therapist. You go to someone or someone of counsel to help you, give you tools, not to spew in your ear, oh, you should do this, not to give a bad version of your partner's behavior. No, you go to someone who can actually help you. Someone with some wise counsel that can give you tools that can help you better your marriage and not just keep throwing little things in it to taint it. Boundaries. Set those boundaries. I'm a huge fan of setting boundaries before you get married. I also believe that boundaries can come in after, like there's like the two I set before we got married is no hitting and no cheating. Those two things is a divorce for me. I'm out. Now, in the time that we've been married, I've set more boundaries. None that will cause divorce, but some that I just don't want. I don't, like sometimes my husband, he's tall, and because I was abused as a child, I don't like for him to stand in my face over my, can you step back? I push, can you step back? That's a boundary of mine. Can you step back when you talk to me so we're more eye to eye and not me having to look up at you like I'm a kid? I don't like that. It makes me feel like you're trying to intimidate me, and I don't like how it makes me feel. So can you step back? And he does. And he it might catch him off guard, but I'm using my words and I'm setting a boundary. And he respects it. So set boundaries. Ones that are like deal breaker boundaries, and then don't be afraid to set boundaries throughout the relationship. And the last one I'm going to give you is prioritize your marriage. It is so important to prioritize your marriage. This is the person that you plan to spend the rest of your life with. They come before anything. The only thing above them is God. And God brought them into your life, hopefully. So that means this is the person that you should cherish, you should love on, you should prioritize. Prioritize your marriage. So I hope these tools have helped you. They have helped me over the last 24 years of marriage. As always, I thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and God bless.
What's up?